If you're bored of always playing solos from box 1 of the minor pentatonic, today I've got a killer soloing hack I want to share with you, one that I learned from one of my biggest influences, Joe Bonamassa. Let's start by listening to a lick I recorded that uses this soloing hack, and from there we'll work backwards to break it down. By the way, everything I'm teaching you today is taken from a free 2-hour-long blues rock soloing masterclass that I've linked in the description box and pinned comment beneath the video, and I'll tell you more about that later. First, I just want you to grab your guitar and play 2 very easy chord shapes with me. The first one looks like this. And the second one looks like this. If you know what those are, great. If you don't, keep watching. So the first shape is a B major chord, and the full name for this chord shape is a first inversion B major triad. The second shape is an A major chord. The full name for this specific one is root position A major triad. Why am I showing you these chords? Well, the lick I played for you uses both of them. If you've never thought about using chord shapes in lead playing, today that's going to change, and you'll finally have new ideas to explore in your solos that are outside of your typical box 1 minor pentatonic licks. Now, both of these chord shapes, the A and B major triads, can be found within a scale called B mixolydian. Mixolydian is used very heavily by players like Joe Bonamassa, Slash, Eric Johnson. Pretty much any rock, blues, or country player uses mixolydian all the time. It's got 7 notes, and it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, when most guitar players learn a 7-note scale like this one, they spend hours and hours practicing these large scale patterns all over the fretboard. The problem is when they sit down to practice improvising with those patterns over a backing track, their improv rarely sounds any different from how they sound when they're just practicing patterns mechanically. Now, practicing scale patterns is worth doing in my opinion, but if you can relate to what I just said, then I'm guessing you've experienced some frustration with that struggle of turning scale patterns into music. The way to get around that is to learn the theory of the scale that you're soloing with. Now, if you're theory phobic and are worried that learning a scale formula is going to turn you into a robot, it won't. So don't be scared, because what I'm about to teach you is going to make you realize that theory can actually increase your musicality, not stifle it. So let's just start by taking a look at all of the notes of this B mixolydian scale across the fretboard. And now, look at this group of 3 notes that are highlighted in green. Does that look familiar? Let's now highlight another group of 3 notes within B mixolydian. Again, this should look familiar to you. What you're seeing is those B major and A major triad shapes highlighted inside the notes of the B mixolydian scale. Now, let's listen back to the lick I played earlier, and this time I'll add fretboard diagrams on screen to show you those triad shapes in action. Okay, so I am going to break down this lick with the tab, but first, I want to make sure you actually understand the main soloing concept that it uses, this hack that I've been talking about. so that you leave this lesson not just having learned a cool new lick to play once and forget. I want you to leave this lesson with practical knowledge you can use to develop licks of your own using this same concept. So what this concept is called is a major triad pair. That means two major triads that are a tone apart. Well, what does that mean? Well, I mentioned we're in B mixolydian, and that in that scale you can find B major and A major triads. Now let's look at all of the 7 triads built from the 7 notes of mixolydian. With B as the root, you get B major, C sharp minor, D sharp diminished, E major, F sharp minor, G sharp minor, and A major. So looking at that, we can see that the B and A major triads are built from the 1st and 7th notes in the scale. Now, it might look like they're far away from each other in that list. The B major is at the top and the A major is way down at the bottom as the 7th triad. But look at them on the fretboard and you'll realize that they're very close to each other. In fact, they're only separated by 1 whole tone, which is the distance of 2 frets when you're looking at them on 1 string. So here's a B major triad, and 2 frets lower, I can play an A major triad. Again. Now, you probably noticed that I played a bunch of different triad shapes on the fretboard there. The different shapes are called inversions. And I'd like to just take a quick moment to explain what a triad inversion is. Now, this applies to triads played on any melodic instrument, not just the guitar, but basically any triad contains just 3 notes, a root, a third, and a fifth. An inversion is a way of arranging those 3 notes from low to high. And since there are only 3 notes in any triad, there are only 3 inversions, right? The names of the inversions are root position, first inversion, and second inversion. Now, I like to teach triad shapes as closed voicings. That basically just means arranging the notes on the fretboard so that you can play all 3 notes at once. Now, there are 4 different string sets you can play closed voicing triads on. The 4th string set is the bottom 3 strings. The 3rd is the A, D, and G. 2nd is the D, G, and B. And the 1st is the top 3 strings. Okay, so let's forget about the A major and the triad pair for a second and just look at 3 inversions of B major across all 4 string sets. So if you want to practice this major triad pair at home, all you need to do is play your B major triad inversions one at a time. And after you play each inversion, take that same shape, shift it down 2 frets, and you'll get the A major. For example. So now I want to show you how I've used this major triad pair in the Bonamassa inspired lick that we've heard a couple of times already. But before I do, I want to let you know that I've got a free 2-hour-long blues rock soloing masterclass complete with tabs and a backing track that is linked in the description box and the pinned comment beneath this video. This is an old course that I made back in 2019. I used to host it on an old subscription site that I shut down years ago, and recently I came across it on an old hard drive. I figured I'd rather give it away to my audience free of charge than have it just sit on a hard drive unused. So consider it my gift to you for watching and supporting my content. It goes much deeper into this type of blues rock soloing, and it was very much inspired by the playing styles of both Joe Bonamassa and Eric Johnson. To get instant access, just click the link below, answer the 1-question quiz on that page. Then you'll be taken to another page where you can put in your email so I know where to send the masterclass, and it'll go straight to your inbox. All right, let's listen to the lick a couple more times with the tab on screen, first at full speed and then slowed down. So these are the triad inversions I'm playing. This is the B major, and this is the A major. As you can see, both of them are played on the second string set, and you might have noticed that I'm using different inversions, right? The B major is a first inversion shape, and the A major is a root position. So I'm not taking the same shape for the B major and shifting it down 2 frets to play the A major. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but I really like the sound of mixing different inversions on the same string set here. And with the ones I've chosen, it allows me to cover a lot of ground on the fretboard, right? I start down here with the B major, and then I shoot up here to play the A major. So for the B major, I'm sliding into the bottom note, the third, from 2 frets below it. I then go back to the bottom note in the B major, and I use that to slide into the bottom note of the A major triad. But what I do for the A major, I just played it there, but what I do there is I extend it to play a 5-note major arpeggio shape. Now, technically, there's only 3 notes that I'm playing there, despite picking 5. The A major contains the notes A, C sharp, and E. So I play them from low to high in the context of that root position triad. Then on the high E string, I play the notes A and C sharp, again, this time an octave higher. A, C sharp, E, A, C sharp. So I'm just doubling up on 2 of the chord tones there. Now the rest of the lick is more scale based. It's rooted in B mixed Lydian and B minor pentatonic. Now, that part I actually break down in the masterclass. For this video, I just wanted to focus on that major triad pair. So if you're interested in going deeper with all of this, I'd like to remind you, you can get free access to that 2-hour-long blues rock soloing masterclass by clicking the link in the description box. Guys, I hope this lesson was helpful. If you want more videos like this, please hit subscribe, like the video, and also comment with suggestions for other topics and players that you'd like me to cover in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.